JustinFREAKIN, get the minimal version of Baltic.
Hey Justin, are you trolling?
We'll see who counts the food.
This is the Troll Patrol, live with JustinFREAKIN.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol Live. It's a freaking Monday. I'm here and I'm on time. It's wild. I have no idea, Flash, what you're talking about. First of all, I don't think anybody knows that, most people don't know who Jack Posobiec is. You gotta be, like, terminally online and in some, like, really dark circles of the internet to even know who that dude is. And I have no idea what you're talking about. Because I touched grass. Apparently got some grass on me last night. I was at an amusement park. About this time last night, I was riding, there's a video of me riding an ostrich in a carousel. We covered is over on at the White House. We watched it. I was here for it. I have no idea what you're talking about with Posobiec, though. Welcome in, friends. Princess Kimberly, Sociatolo, Shelly, did I see a Warlord, anonymously, Ducky, Flash, friends, good to see you. I did not have a chance to watch Majority Report today. I actually had it up and never got a chance to turn it on because I was working on some shit for a client and also trying to clean things up because a cat vomited all over the floor. I got up this morning and stepped in it. It was not fun. Meanwhile, we wrote. It was a cool weekend because we did first Thanksgiving on Saturday. We did our first dinner on Saturday, and it was quite nice. Curiouser made ham and sweet potato casserole and deviled eggs. I made macaroni and cheese and green bean casserole. Piss and puke everywhere. That's what cats do. Piss and puke. Piss and puke and purr. Holiday. Good evening. Pics of what? Pics of what? Warlord, welcome in. Thanksgiving is on Thursday, and then we're going to do second Thanksgiving, and we have turkey, and I don't even remember all the other stuff we're making then. Nothing like stepping in some cat puke. Flash, you have that ass fucking backwards. She got a cooked ham and put it in the crock pot. Justin made macaroni and scratch from cheese. Now let's see what the cat did. T-minus, welcome in. I did not take pictures of the cat vomit. I did. Curiouser got a video of me, however, on the carousel.
Maybe.
I thought she was getting me because I was like waving at all the people. I was like putting on a whole show as we went by. Because you know how I am. Of course I did. I am too much. But basically, we ended up driving to an amusement park to wait 2 hours in line to ride one ride. Daily Wire famous. They did not know they were watching somebody that was Daily Wire famous. No. You can't unsee me ride the ostrich. Is that what you're talking about, T-Mont? Was it that traumatic? I didn't realize it was that bad. Okay, we got news to cover because I don't really want to be doing news. If it was up to me, we'd already be doing Thanksgiving specials. Jimmy Cliff passed away today, so I guess we'll do Live Music Monday and listen to some reggae music after the news. Big news today, the judge has dismissed the case against James Comey and Letitia James because, of course, it was a nothing burger.
Coming on the air with some breaking news this hour. A judge has dismissed the cases against former FBI Director James Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James. It's coming after that federal judge ruled that a prosecutor was unlawfully appointed to her role. I want to bring in our law enforcement and intelligence correspondent, Tom Winter, who's standing by for us. Tom, if you will, bring us up to date as to how we got here to this moment.
Right. So there's there's been a number of different challenges that we've had here, Yasmin, to this particular case. And Comey had argued against the indictment on several different fronts, saying that it was selective and vindictive. And then he was arguing against the indictment because he said the appointment of Lindsay Halligan, who at one point was counsel to current President Donald Trump when he was going through his legal troubles prior to the election, saying that that appointment was not valid, and arguing that before the court. And so this is just one of several challenges. And on this front, we now have a ruling from Judge Cameron Curry, a senior U.S. district judge, saying the appointment of Ms. Halligan as interim U.S. attorney violated the law and the appointments clause of the Constitution. All actions flowing from Ms. Halligan's defective appointment, including securing and signing Mr. Comey's indictment, were unlawful exercise.
So they have dismissed it on the grounds that she was not validly appointed. But there were multiple reasons for dismissal. Apparently, he was never indicted in the first place. The Trump DOJ has admitted that they didn't actually show the indictment that was signed by the foreperson to the entire grand jury. It's a whole bunch of messed up.
Of executive power and are hereby set aside. The judge went on to say that the Attorney General's attempts to ratify Ms. Halligan's actions were ineffective, and those are also set aside. And so the motion to dismiss the indictment is granted in accordance with the order, and the indictment is dismissed without prejudice. That means technically that the Justice Department can try to bring these charges again when a U.S. attorney is properly installed in the Eastern District of Virginia, where they sought to bring this case. Bit of an asterisk on that, though, because this case was kind of rushed.
Statute of limitations have expired.
Because the statute of limitations concerns. And so now the question is, has that time run? Was there some sort of an agreement here where the Justice Department says, well, wait a minute, we had an opportunity to respond to this. There were challenges, and so we should be able to get that time back to bring an indictment. That's a step that we're just not clear on at the moment. On top of that, another indictment that obviously got a lot of attention against New York's Attorney General Letitia James. That indictment also dismissed on the same grounds and the same type of arguments that Lindsay Halligan was not appropriately appointed to U.S. Attorney in the Eastern District of Virginia. That case is a little bit different because of some of the conduct that's been alleged there. That case.
They grabbed like the blurriest picture they could find of her. However, not that she's that attractive of a lady. I wouldn't even let her be my GOP mommy, to be honest with you.
It is possible could be brought again with a properly installed U.S. attorney. You're looking at Lindsay Halligan, a photograph of her there. The Comey case, there's still some other challenges that remain outstanding, including on that selective and vindictive prosecution. So we expect to hear from that as soon as this week from the judge in that case to be able to look at that, or the judge rather that's reviewing that issue, to look at that and then be able to make a ruling on that. So as far as Comey's concerned, not all of the orders are in. This one appears to be quite clear and is final as far as this particular indictment, which is the idea of these particular charges and this particular conduct now dismissed without prejudice, and still a bit of an open question, as I mentioned, as to whether or not they can be brought again. If the statute of limitations time has come up, Yasmin, that means that's it as far as that conduct. And if the Justice Department is going to try to bring charges against Comey, who was fired during the...
I condemn.
Obviously, somebody the President of the United States views as a foe, well, they're going to have to go about it a different route.
Hey, Tom, just so I'm clear on this. So my understanding is, in fact, as you mentioned, they may not be able to bring up these specific charges once again for James Comey because of that statute of limitations. But when it comes to the New York Attorney General Letitia James, in fact, that statute of limitations does not necessarily exist. So these particular charges could be brought up once again.
That's what without prejudice means. It means that you have an opportunity to bring those charges again. And so that's something that we'll have to look at. But at least my initial look at the ruling here is that for the New York Attorney General, she's not quite out of the woods yet as far as future indictment. Whatever other legal challenges she faces, those can also be heard by the court as well. So it's not totally settled for her. For James Comey, obviously, there's going to be some more watching of the dockets and also to see what the Justice Department does in terms of those statute of limitations.
Tom Warner, if you will, stand by for me. I want to bring in senior White House correspondent Garrett Haake as well, who's standing by for us at the White House. Garrett, the president has been pretty outspoken as to wanting the Justice Department to go after his quote-unquote perceived enemies, former FBI Director James Comey and New York Attorney General Tish James. being two of them. Now that these indictments have in fact been dismissed, Lindsay Halligan being the former special assistant to the president, what are we hearing from the White House?
Nothing yet from the White House on the dismissal of these indictments or from the president himself, who I think will probably comment before the White House press office does, given how personal these investigations and indictments were to him. Yasmin, it's not just that Lindsay Halligan, the attorney here, had worked for the president before he became president again and in his White House, but she was handpicked for this role. Folks might remember that it was on a social media post that the president wrote seemingly directly to his attorney general.
He has not responded.
Halligan was the person.
He's bitched about Marjorie Taylor Greene and Rand Paul. Yeah, the latest two truths he's truthed out were about Marjorie Taylor Greene. He called into Fox at like 5 o'clock tonight, I guess. Maybe we'll play that when we get to the MTG section.
Person who should take on this role. Bondi, the Attorney General, then moved quickly, although perhaps too quickly it seems now, to fill this U.S. Attorney's post in Virginia with Ms. Halligan to proceed with these cases. I think it's possible, Yasmin, this will also continue to fuel frustration within the White House towards the DOJ, which has been kind of at the front line in a negative sense on so many news stories related to this administration in recent days, from their handling of the Epstein files now to seeing these indictments dismissed. It's the kind of thing that's going to frustrate the president and the people around him if past is prologue.
Garrett Hake, stand by for me as well. Want to bring in NBC News legal affairs reporter Gary Grumbach. Gary,
it's just a whole gangbang in here on NBC News.
Last week as well, in which the judge was weighing as to whether or not to dismiss these indictments. What has stood out to you in these proceedings?
Well, there's been so many issues related to the grand jury proceedings in James Comey's case. And I think what happens here is a sort of result of all of those issues combined. You had one where the grand jury observer there was not correctly giving the indictment that the grand jury, the 12-person grand jury, had actually seen to the judge. So Lindsay Halligan perhaps signed an indictment that the entire grand jury didn't actually see. And then you have issues of perhaps missing minutes in a transcript that was brought up by Judge Curry in one of these cases. So perhaps the court reporter may not have been in the room where this all happened. So it was several different issues here. But this all comes back to the 120-day interim U.S. attorney rule. And that's the specific reason why this judge here today is finding that Lindsay Halligan's appointment as U.S. attorney is invalid, because she says you cannot appoint successive U.S. attorneys one after another if they are interim. They have to be appointed and confirmed by the U.S. Senate. And that is an important part here. She says, quote, "I conclude that the Attorney General's attempt to install Ms. Halligan as an interim U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia was invalid, and that she's been unlawfully serving in that role since September 22nd. Now, that's an important date because James Comey was indicted several days after September 22nd, which is why she is finding his indictment to be invalid and throwing that out, and she's doing the same thing with Letitia James's case.
Gary, quickly take us back to last week, the moment in which it was revealed that, in fact, Lindsay Halligan did not get the entire grand jury to sign off on that James Comey indictment. What was the reaction inside that courtroom?
It was a remarkable scene there because this happens all the time.
Rocky, Sports Cards, welcome in.
Signs an indictment, she gives it to the judge, and then the judge affirms it there after a grand jury brings down that indictment. That is not what happened here. What happened here is that there was two different copies. One had 3 counts and one had 2 counts because the grand jury did not indict on one of the 3 counts. So the grand jury coordinator just edited the document, took off one of the 3 counts, and then put the document towards Lindsay Halligan. She signed it, and it went right to a judge. The grand jury never saw that second indictment, and that is a significant issue. That's what Tom was talking about as one of the other issues in this case. There's several different motions that, frankly, don't matter as much anymore because of this decision here. Of course, this could all get appealed.
Gary Grumbach, stand by for me as well. Want to bring our Chief Justice and National Affairs correspondent, Kelly O'Donnell.
Bringing somebody else in.
Joining us by phone. Kelly,
what a gangbang.
I want to read the statement that we're getting in from New York Attorney General Letitia James, in which she says, "I am heartened by today's victory and grateful for the prayers and support I have received from around the country. She goes on.
Yeah, that's NBC's audio, not mine.
Baseless charges as I continue fighting for New Yorkers every single day. Help put this moment in context for us, Kelly.
Good to be with you, Yasmin. This is really a huge setback for the president and his view of how he can push the Department of Justice to go after his perceived political enemies. Letitia James, the Attorney General, a Democrat in New York, has been someone who has drawn the ire of the president for a long time. She won a significant judgment against him and his family business in New York. James Comey has been an outspoken critic of the president since he left the job as FBI director. He was fired by Donald Trump. This is
Fred, welcome in, friend.
Trump using his power in ways that a court has now said exceeded his authority. As we heard the details from our colleagues about the 120-day rule, this means a personally selected attorney who had been an insurance attorney and a staffer in the White House, never a prosecutor, was installed in this position because the president wanted her to be there. The court finds that they did not follow the law.
Because he needed a lapdog.
And then everything that comes from it is now tossed aside. Now, as we have been discussing, it is possible because of the way this was dismissed, that charges could be brought again. But that takes us back to why was Lindsay Halligan installed in the first place? Because career prosecutors who had reviewed this material in both cases, did James Comey lie to Congress? Did he obstruct their process? Did Letitia James seek favor in her mortgage rate that was a financial benefit to her? Other prosecutors reviewed that and did not seek those charges. So it's a real question about can these cases go forward? But the big picture in this moment is that the president and his approach to using the powers of his office has been rebuked by a judge, and that is a significant factor. These are two public rivals of the president who are now scoring at least a temporary win, and the president will certainly respond to this. But this is a significant...
It's never going to happen because Democrats are going to be like, oh, we're above this. Oh, we don't want it to look like we're prosecuting our political opponents. The country needs to heal.
Rebuke of how President Trump views his use of the Department of Justice, how Attorney General Bondi conducted herself by appointing Lindsay Halligan. So these are big, far-reaching themes in the use of executive power in the Trump White House. And that applies to many other topics in many other areas. Today we're talking about 2 indictments, but it is significant.
We thank you for watching.
Oh, shut up, Tom Llama.
And top stories.
We want Lester back.
Or watch live on our YouTube channel.
I was waiting for it. I knew it was coming. A few days ago, several Democrats put out a video basically telling members of the armed service that they served the Constitution and not Trump. And for some reason, this has made Republicans incredibly angry.
I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative Chris DeLuzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow.
I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
and the intelligence community
who take risks each day
to keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
and intelligence community professionals
against American citizens.
Like us. You all swore an oath
to protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad,
but from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one...
We actually have a hotline set up to coach you on how to refuse illegal orders in the military. in case anyone was wondering.
Has to carry out orders that violate the law
or our Constitution.
We know this is hard.
And that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
The Army,
Or Navy?
The Air Force.
Your vigilance is critical.
and know that we have your back.
because now, more than ever,
It is the GI Rights
To stand up.
hotline, and this is it. It is in the chat.
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
So if you were serving in the military and you were watching the show, good luck with that. If you think you've been given illegal orders, you can call the GI Rights hotline. Today, Pete Hegseth threatening Senator Mark Kelly with a court-martial over that video you just watched.
The Pentagon says it will investigate Democratic Senator Mark Kelly after he joined a handful of other lawmakers in a video calling for U.S. troops to refuse unlawful orders. Now, in a statement, the Arizona Democrat said he found out about the investigation from social media, writing in part, quote, "If this is meant to intimidate me and other members of Congress from doing our jobs and holding this administration accountable, it won't work." That sentiment shared by Kelly's fellow Arizona Senator Ruben Gallego. He shared a passionate video reacting to the news on social media earlier today.
This is insane. We should all point out how insane this is. Mark Kelly's a patriot. There's no reason why they're going.
He dropped F-bombs.
His duty and just reminding people about their rights as service members. And, you know, Secretary Hegseth, all these guys, you're not going to be able to scare us. We have a right to defend the Constitution of the United States. We have a right to tell other service members that they have a right to ignore illegal orders, and you're not going to be able to intimidate us.
All right, for more on this, let's bring in CBS News congressional reporter Torian Small. Torian, great to be
Big
with you.
Ben, welcome in.
6 other people in this video. Why is Mark Kelly being singled out?
Well, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, Liz, says that he is singling out and defended singling out Senator Kelly because he is within his jurisdiction as a former Navy captain. He says that that post that he's seen from those 6 Democrats, in his words, are despicable, disgraceful, and also false. And he believes it could amount to potential crime being committed once this investigation is underway. Like we mentioned at the top of this segment, Kelly found out through social media. He said that this is absolutely ridiculous that he's being targeted. And again, he sees this as an intimidation tactic, saying that he's willing to fight back and won't be silent.
I mean, it clearly is.
Over it.
And Torian, we just heard Senator Gallego's fiery reaction to all of this. What are you hearing on the Hill today?
Yeah, lawmakers are recessed this week for the holiday, but we know as the reactions will come in. Of course, we saw Gallego's response in defense of Senator Kelly. We know that also Senator Kelly's wife, Gabby Gifford, put out a post saying that she stands by her husband. He's a patriot in her mind, and she is absolutely standing by him as he's under attack in her mind from the Trump administration. This comes after the president himself called out those 6 lawmakers, saying that what they've done in that video amounts to sedition. In his words, in a post to his social media site last week, saying a crime, sedition, punishable by death. We've asked the White House press secretary about whether or not the president is advocating for the execution or the jailing of Democrats. She said that the attention should be rather focused on the video itself. And I want to make it clear, all 6 Democrats in that video said that they believe military troops, military members should not obey unlawful orders. The Trump administration is casting a more brighter paintbrush, saying that
bulletproof.
They believe that they're telling the men and women of the armed services to act against the orders of the President of the United States, Liz.
Patrol has issued 0 illegal orders in 2025. Thank you very much. I try. Marjorie Taylor Greene announced she was leaving. We were on stream doing something else. Was it Thursday? Was it Friday? It was Friday. We were watching Sunny in Philadelphia. We had to pause watching Sunny in Philadelphia on Twitch to listen to Marjorie Taylor Greene announce that she's leaving Congress. Her last day will be January 5th.
One of the MAGA movement's most vocal defenders now on her way out.
I'll be resigning from office with my last day being January 5th, 2026.
And today, Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene writing online that she is not running for president in 2028, adding she never said I wanted to.
I just disagreed with her philosophy.
The president telling NBC News in an exclusive interview it's not going to be easy for her to bring back her political career. Trump claiming credit for his former friend turned foe's decision.
Once I left her, she resigned because she would never have survived a primary. But I think she's a nice person.
Mr. Trump had a bitter public falling out with Greene that came to a head over her support for releasing the Epstein files, an issue that split the MAGA base.
Standing up for American women who were raped at 14 years old, trafficked and used by rich, powerful men should not result in me being called a traitor and threatened by the President of the United States, whom I fought for.
That's because you fought for a pedophile, dumbass.
Greene also citing the president's ties to foreign leaders, saying his policies are not America first.
If I am cast aside by the president and the MAGA political machine, then many common Americans have been cast aside and replaced as well.
Today, blasting what she calls the political industrial complex for having destroyed our country. And as the president splits with a longtime supporter, he appeared to reach out to the opposite side of the aisle. New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani.
I feel very confident that he can do very.
We covered this on Friday as well.
On that meeting with Kristen Welker on Meet the Press this morning.
We don't shy away from where we have disagreements, but we understand what it is that brings us to that table.
Julie is joining us now from the White House. And Julie, we're also learning tonight that one of the more controversial initiatives of this Trump term is coming to an end early with Elon Musk's DOJ now done.
Yeah, Hallie, it was supposed to operate until July of next year, but the Department of Government Efficiency is no more. The government's chief human resources officer telling NBC News it'll be up to individual agencies to carry out DOJ's cost-cutting mission.
My lord, welcome in.
We thank you for watching, and remember...
Whoa, that ended abruptly.
Top stories on the NBC...
Llama snuck up on me. Shut up, Tom Llama. We want Lester back. Bring back Lester. Bring back Lester. Residents of Georgia seem to think that Greene could have won re-election without the support of Trump, that she is that popular on her own. And I brought up AOC being the top fundraiser for the Democrats. Marjorie Taylor Greene at one time was the top fundraiser for the Republicans. But the thing that she said that she cited as the reason is she didn't want to have to fight to win re-election against a primary opponent that is backed by Trump, only to have to turn around and defend Trump against an impeachment should the Democrats win. And I understand that.
Greene has said that she's resigning from Congress in January, a decision that has scrambled Republicans in her home state of Georgia, as well as nationally. Greene had been one of President Donald Trump's top defenders on Capitol Hill since she was first elected in 2020. But the two have recently drifted apart over issues including foreign policy, healthcare, and the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files. Trump even recently called Greene a traitor, saying that he would back a primary challenger against her in next year's midterms. But some in Greene's home state of Georgia say they believe she would have won that primary anyway, even if Donald Trump had opposed her, citing the lack of success of some other Trump-backed challengers in previous races. Georgia has long been a thorn in Donald Trump's side. It was the scene of one of his slimmest losses to Democrat Joe Biden in the 2020 election, and also a place where Trump falsely claimed the election had been rigged against him. In early 2021, it's also the state where two Republicans lost special Senate runoff elections to Democrats who then took over the chamber. Trump has later said that he didn't campaign as vigorously as he could have for those Republicans because he was, quote, angry over his own situation in Georgia. Trump now says the GOP is unified, aside from some, quote,
he didn't campaign as vigorously for them because he had just committed sedition and was toxic.
lowlifes that he says are Green and a few other members. As to what's next for Green, her last day in office will be January 5th, and there'll be a special election to replace her. She said she's not running for Senate or governor in next year's elections, or president in 2028. But a lot could happen between now and then.
Trump called into Fox News just a little bit ago and apparently was talking about MTG. It seems like he's trying to butter her up.
All right, Tim Burchett weighed in.
Do you think that there's room in the party for members who don't agree with the president on everything?
There's always room, ma'am. That's the difference between us and the Democrats. They use the, as I like to say, the stick and the carrot. They reward you with the carrot or they beat you over the head with the stick, and that's why they rarely, they always vote in unison, and they never would allow a bill up until they had all their people whipped into place or bought off legally, I guess. Or
wild.
They do it. They do it better behind closed doors, and we don't. We're vocal, and I think that's part of our strength. People are going to argue or they're going to have differences, but I mean, President Trump's the biggest dog in the pound, ma'am, and you can take him on if you want, but the results are always the same.
I think she fell in love with being on CNN and The View and getting that embrace from people that normally spend a lot of time ripping her. Yeah, but they don't.
Wow. Huh. Is that a different clip?
All right, Tim Burchett weighed in.
You said nothing about her being nice there. That's from Donald Trump's Truth Social. That's where I pulled that. He's got it pinned right now. Of course, welcome in. Wild. They are both orange. All of them are looking a little orange, to be honest. I don't know. You say he's not looking orange, but he's still looking a little orange. Kilmeade. Up above Georgia, there's a state called Tennessee. They're having a special election. And the Democrats think they might be able to pull off an upset. Steve Kornacki breaking it down.
In less than 2 weeks, we're going to get our next clues on how voters are feeling ahead of the midterms. It will come from a special election in a solidly Republican congressional district in the middle of Tennessee, one where Democrats are hoping they can pull off an upset. Former Vice President Kamala Harris even made a surprise appearance for the Democrat there this week.
Out of a
The first time.
If you wanted her to win, why would you do that?
She's joined a candidate on the campaign trail since leaving office. NBC's Steve Kornacki has more on the race at the big board.
All right, December 2nd, less than 2 weeks from now, we get our next election, our next readout on the atmosphere as 2026 starts to come into focus. So it's a special election in the 7th Congressional District of Tennessee, sort of middle Tennessee. What are we talking about here? Well, there's downtown Nashville. There's the suburbs in Williamson County, which is right outside Nashville. And then it kind of sprawls and crawls to the west and to the south to some rural areas. So sort of a mix in this district, a very Republican district. You wouldn't normally talk about this district being at all potentially competitive, except here's what's been happening in recent elections. You know, in New Jersey here, Democratic landslide in the governor's race. But the key was this. Look, Trump had lost this state by 6 points to Kamala Harris last year. New Jersey went up to a 14-point margin in the governor's race there. So the Democrats didn't just win. I think they overperformed relative to last year. Same thing happened in Virginia. Again, it's a blue state to start with. Harris had won this by just under 6 points last year. But again, look at this, up to 15 points here. So 2 Democratic landslides. It wasn't just Democrats won these states. It's that they won them in landslides. And this comes on the heels of what we've had 4 special elections for the House so far this year. And in all 4 of them, the Democrats have overperformed relative to 2024. In Florida, 1st District, Republicans won it by 15, but that was down from 37 points last year. In Florida 6, Republicans won by 14, down from a 30-point win. Democrats carried two districts here, but they increased their margin relative to 2024. So again, you look at this district, Tennessee 7. Look, Trump won it by 22 points last year. He won it by 15 points in 2020. But if you get this kind of movement, if you get some of that movement you saw in Virginia, some of that movement in New Jersey, this could get into the single digits. This could get potentially interesting. One thing we've been seeing, these special elections, lower turnout, Democrats have been more motivated, their voters have, than Republicans. So keep an eye on this one. The Republicans think the Democratic candidate, she's sort of from the progressive side of the party. Her own party called her the AOC of Tennessee. They think they can get some mileage out of those attacks they want to be using nationally in 2026. If the Republicans end up winning this big, not having this kind of drop-off, it would show those attacks maybe are going to work next year. If the Democrats can get this down to single digits, it would be more momentum for them heading into the midterm.
All right, we'll be watching closely. Steve Kornacki,
Tom Llama? Tom Llama?
We thank you for watching, and remember...
Shut up, Tom Llama.
News and top stories on the NBC News app.
A little too much llama on the show for me tonight. Trump has declared Nicolas Maduro, the president of Venezuela, as the head of a drug cartel which does not exist.
Bold move by the Trump administration declaring Venezuela's president, Nicolas Maduro, and his government among the world's most dangerous terrorist organizations. The announcement allows President Trump to move in on Venezuela, but when it will happen is still uncertain. Here's D.C. Bureau Chief Ben Kennedy.
Tonight, the U.S. has formally marked Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro and his government allies as members of a foreign terrorist organization, accusing Cartel de los Soles of trafficking drugs into the states. On social media, South Florida Representative Maria Salazar said the Cartel of the Suns is officially recognized as a terrorist organization, exactly what Venezuelans have known for years. Adding, for too long, the Maduro regime has financed narco-terrorism and tyranny in Venezuela and throughout our hemisphere. This move gives the Trump administration
DJ Dub, welcome in.
Target and dismantle cartels and even expand.
Thank you for the resub, my friend.
Like imposing fresh sanctions against Maduro's assets and infrastructure. Maduro has denied any personal involvement in drug running. In a state,
it is DJ Dub's 2-year anniversary. Fucking warlord, 42 months. 42 months. God damn, that's how long that motherfucker's been with me. But happy 2-year DJ Dub.
Even the Venezuelan government called the
I'll light one up to that.
Fabrication. Writing this new maneuver will follow the same fate as previous and reoccurring aggressions against our country. Failure.
We view the Maduro regime as being illegitimate, and the president has been very satisfied with the successful strikes against narco-terrorists and foreign terrorists.
And it comes during a massive American military buildup in the Caribbean, with the USS Gerald R. Ford, the world's largest aircraft carrier, now in the region. U.S. Southern Command shared they've conducted at least 21 strikes on alleged drug-carrying boats. It is now believed from all the attacks since September, more than 80 people have been killed.
I'm not in love with the people running Venezuela. I love Venezuela. I love the people of Venezuela. But what they've done to this country.
Tonight, more than a dozen warships and some 15,000 troops are in the region as the White House says President Trump has been briefed on options he could take against the cartels, but also in Venezuela.
Senator Rand Paul says he has not been briefed on Venezuela at all. I do believe he is on the Armed Services Committee. Whether he's on the Armed Services Committee or not, he was on Face the Nation yesterday.
We go now to Republican Senator Rand Paul, who joins us from Bowling Green, Kentucky. Welcome back to the program, Senator. A lot to get to, but on this concern about political violence or angry rhetoric, I know the president himself has survived these 2 attempts on his life. You've talked to us about those risks to him. And then we had this killing of Charlie Kirk just a few months ago.
Is she okay?
Is the president holding himself to the same standard that he is asking of others when it comes to dialing back dangerous rhetoric?
You know, everybody knows that the president is famous for his unfiltered social media. Take at face value the idea that calling your opponents traitors and then specifically saying that it warrants the death penalty is reckless, inappropriate, irresponsible. There are a number of other ways to describe it, but it's not something that is helping the country heal wounds. I think it stirs things up, and really, I think we can do better.
Well, on the Homeland Security front, I understand you are chair of that committee, and so you have some insight into some of these domestic threats. It's not just these Democratic lawmakers. We saw out in the state of Indiana, 4 Republican state senators were targeted by swatting threats amid President Trump's public pressure.
Seriously, I'm kind of worried about Margaret.
Their state. Just a few weeks ago, we did see one of the convicted January 6 rioters, who was then pardoned by President Trump, arrested.
Face of the neighbor.
Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. I mean, are we at the point here where it's not just unfiltered social media posts, but truly dangerous rhetoric?
Well, you know, I've been on the receiving side of this. Even my father, who's been retired for some time, has been on the receiving end of swatting. Police are called, says there's an emergency in the home, and the goal is to, you know, have someone draw a gun and be killed as the police come in, supposedly to rescue someone who's not really in need of being rescued. So I think both sides have been doing this, and I think the language on treason and traitors, both to Republicans and Democrats, is, as I said, reckless, inappropriate, irresponsible.
Do you think so one of the other developments we've seen just over the weekend is that Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, Republican from Georgia, just a staunch supporter for so long of the president, has said she is going to step away because she's paid such a public price for some of her positions. Do you think there is room in your party for disagreeing with President Trump?
I think it's important that we have independent voices. So I'm sad to see her voice go away or potentially go away. I think that she brought up something in the last week or so that was very important. What is the Republican plan for health care? So I've engaged the president on this, and I'm putting forward my own plan. But in my plan, what it allows for is people to buy their insurance through a collective, basically to buy their insurance through Costco or Sam's.
Like an exchange or something?
Mine is the only plan out there that would actually drive prices down.
Buy insurance through Amazon.
This will help in our country, independent voice within the Republican caucus, not to see things always inside the box, but to think of some out-of-the-box solutions. So I think independent voices are important in the Republican Party.
I want to ask you, because of your position on Homeland Security, you may have some insight into the drug cartels. You are also on Senate Foreign Relations, and it is tomorrow that the Trump...
I'm sorry, I said Armed Services, and he's on the Foreign Relations and Homeland Security committees. I got it confused.
Administration officially will designate the Cartel de los Soles as a foreign terrorist organization. That's the cartel the Trump administration says is linked to Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro. Secretary Hegseth says it gives the administration new tools. Nothing's on or off the table, he says, militarily. Legally, what changes tomorrow? What becomes possible?
I think by doing this, they're pretending as if we are at war. They're pretending as if they've gotten some imprimatur to do what they want. When you have war, the rules of engagement are lessened. So, for example, we normally don't shoot boats that we suspect of being drug...
Are you sure they're lessened? I've seen the U.S. police.
...dealers. In fact, if the Coast Guard tomorrow started shooting all vessels that are off of Miami or off of San Diego, about 1 in 4 of the vessels that they normally board doesn't have drugs. So it actually would be unlawful if the Coast Guard started blowing up boats. But for some reason, they say, oh, we're at war off the coast of Venezuela, and so it's a different rule of engagement.
For some reason, it could be because they're fucking fascists.
And we said, if it's war, let's declare it as war. Let's have this discussion. Is it war or not? And the administration refused that. They want to have it both ways. They want to say, oh, we can just say these people are terrorists, they're narco-terrorists, so we can blow them up. But it's extraordinary that when some of them survive, they pluck them out of the water. They don't prosecute them for drugs. They don't collect drugs. They don't tell us if they were armed or not. They just send them back to their country, most of the time not being Venezuela. They've sent one back to Colombia and one back to Ecuador, but nobody's making any pretense of even interviewing them to find out who's selling you the drugs. Maybe we could find out who the kingpins are if they're involved in the drug trade. Not a word. And I've been given zero, not one briefing, because I'm skeptical of what they're doing. They don't brief me or the General Senate at all. A few hand-selected people may have gotten a briefing, but I have not been invited to any briefings on Venezuela.
Well, that's fairly unusual given your Homeland Security role, and that the premise for some of this action has to do with both immigration and drug policy, according to the president. I know the DEA administrator recently spoke to our Nicole Skanga and told her that they have seen between a 30 to 45% increase in cocaine prices per kilogram due to these DOD boat strikes and a shift towards land routes for delivery of those drugs. In other words, there's still...
Wait a minute, is Trump pulling some kind of grift? Has he got some kind of drug dealer in his family and he's driving up the price of cocaine by doing this shit?
Demand for the drugs, and the cartels are just finding different routes to deliver them. Have you seen any evidence that the president's actions to date are winning a drug war?
You know, I think we should be trying to work on the demand side, treating it as a health problem, as an addiction problem in our country, and trying to lessen the demand. And that is part of the overall solution. The war on drugs, though, to capture all the people selling drugs, the price goes up and more people
Terry, welcome in.
it. You know, a couple of the people that have been identified as being on these boats are simply down on their luck people with no problem.
Trying to get Don Jr. off the coke by making it too expensive.
Race across the ocean.
They've been raking in that Bitcoin money.
Those people. There's probably a limitless number of those people in South America. There's been some benefit when we've cooperated with countries and with governments.
I guess crypto money.
That's not what this is. And I fear that
They
this
use Bitcoin the way a mom would use Nintendo.
against the rule of law in the way in which we interact with people on the high seas, and it has no precedent.
I've seen you quoted as saying there are people in the administration who have wanted to go to war in Venezuela for some time. Who are you talking about?
I think it's clear that Senator Rubio, as a senator, was very much an advocate of regime change. This was at odds, really, with President Trump. And so when he was picked, a lot of people who had been supportive of President Trump were, oh, my goodness, they're picking someone much more hawkish and much more eager to be involved and to intervene in other countries. And so people worried. And then the first year or so, people are like, oh, well, Rubio's done a good job on foreign aid, and they've cut back on all of the abuse of these NGOs around the world. And I think the people supporting the president have been very supportive of the Secretary of State. But I think once there's an invasion of Venezuela, or if they decide to re-up the subsidies and the gifts to Ukraine, I think you'll see a splintering and a fracturing of the movement that has supported the president, because I think a lot of people, including myself, were attracted to the president because of his reticence to get us involved in foreign war.
Well, to date, they say nothing on or off the table, no specifics. We'll continue to track all the reporting on that. Senator Rand Paul, thank you for your time today.
T-minus, I think that FDR passing away is what killed the push for health care, because it was in his second Bill of Rights. I think if he hadn't passed, if he had finished his fourth term, being able to carry on his agenda past that term, perhaps. Jezebel, welcome in. Trump is apparently focused on health care, according to Caroline Leavitt earlier today.
If the president does announce a proposal to cut health care costs, will that include the extension of the Obamacare subsidy?
I know there's been a lot of reporting on this from yourself as well, Jake, over the last few days. I will tell you that healthcare is a topic of discussion that's happening very frequently and robustly inside the West Wing right now. The president's very much involved in these talks, and he's very focused on unveiling a healthcare proposal that will fix the system and will bring down costs for consumers. As for the details of those discussions, I'll let the president speak for himself. As you all know, sometimes you report things and then President Trump comes out with an announcement, and those things are not always true from what you hear from sources inside the building. So I'll let the president speak for himself. Sure, go ahead, Kara.
He told President Trump, he said he still believes he's a fascist and a despot after they had such a great meeting. Any comment from the White House on that?
I think talk is cheap, and I think that the president is going to judge Mamdani by his actions that he takes to New York. The meeting was positive, as you heard from the president last week, and I think the fact that the president is willing to meet with somebody who said those types of things about him shows that he really is interested in being a president for all Americans, regardless of where they live or who their leader is. He wants what's best for New York. He loves New York City. He helped build the skyline. He spent his whole life there, and so he really wants to see New York do well. And so that's how that meeting played last week.
Of course it was called socialism. Of course. So this was an interesting little clip from CNN earlier today.
We're learning President Trump is planning to unveil a new health care proposal, and at this point, we're still waiting to know exactly what's in it, but we're told it could include a temporary extension of the Enhanced Affordable Care Act subsidies, which are due to expire at the end of the year. They were at the center of the government shutdown. However, the subsidies could come with some fresh guardrails that could include new income limits and a requirement that everyone pay some form of a premium. Now, we should note that if the subsidies do expire, millions of Americans are expected to see their premiums more than double next year. Zach Cooper is joining us now. He's a professor of health policy at Yale University. Zach, thanks for being here. As I noted, we are very much still waiting for specifics here. I'm sorry, this has actually been, sorry, Zach, we're getting breaking news while I'm talking to you. I have learned that the White House has postponed its expected unveiling of this new proposal. It was expected to be unveiled today. We'll learn more, hopefully, about that in the coming moments. But again, this is postponed.
Just another 2 weeks.
The ideas here.
The ideas. What ideas? They don't have ideas. Silent, welcome in. A former GOP staffer has been caught faking an attack. Her name is Natalie Green. Do you remember Left is Best? Quesadilla, welcome in. This is another Left is Best. This is another, the woman that carved an O into her face or something. Claimed an Obama supporter attacked her. This is a tale as old as time.
The images are shocking. A woman with an anti-Trump message carved into her torso,
Trump whore,
slashed all over her body and face. She claimed she was the victim of a politically motivated attack. Now the FBI says it was all just an elaborate hoax. Stephen Fabian has the details, and we want to warn you, these images are intense.
They are horrific images. A woman's body is covered with slashes, red with blood. The glamorous woman told cops she was attacked by 3 men who hate President Trump. Written on her stomach with what looks like a Sharpie, the terrible words, "Trump whore." On her back, Van Drew is racist. The woman worked for Congressman Jeff Van Drew, a Republican from New Jersey. She's been identified as 26-year-old Natalie Green. She's also a student at Rutgers Law School. Authorities say they received a 911 call from Green and another woman saying she'd been attacked here at the Egg Harbor Nature Reserve in New Jersey. Now, Green told the 911 operator that 3 men approached them around 10.
Well, clearly, how she get that job.
Slashes into her body with a scalpel and then left her restrained with zip ties. This is an image from body cam footage after officers arrived on the scene. Green's arms are tied behind her back and her feet also zip-tied. Now, a shocking twist. Police say it was all a hoax.
Of course it was a hoax.
Began to unravel after questioning by the FBI. Authorities say Green paid a body artist $500 to cut her body with a scalpel. Court papers say she drew this image and told him exactly what she wanted him to do. Now she's charged with making false statements to federal law enforcement.
The congressman Natalie Green worked for sent us a message saying he hopes she's getting the help she needs.
Wow. If it was a Democrat, he'd be like, sick, deranged, blah, blah, blah. Elon Musk made a major change to X. Was it over the weekend? It's fairly recently. Maybe at the end of last week. And it revealed some not so surprising things. Big political X accounts apparently aren't US based. Exposed by a new X update. Many of them post wildly partisan support for President Donald Trump. They aren't even United States based, though some claim to be Americans. X rolled out a new update over the weekend that displays a user's location by clicking on the join date on their profile. Users can elect to have their location displayed either as a country or as a region. Right-wing poster Ian Miles Chong, who has previously admitted to his 1.2 million followers, he is not U.S.-based, is based in the United Arab Emirates. Pro-Trump account with 1 million followers, Ivanka News, not affiliated with Ivanka, appears to be based in Nigeria, even though the user's comments almost exclusively on American politics. Account called MAGA Nation with nearly 400,000 followers appears to be an Eastern European account. Though the account is dedicated to pro-Trump content and claimed to have voted for Republicans, an account called America First, 67,000 followers, former liberal. They're apparently based in Bangladesh. Screenshot circulating X claim Republicans against Trump. An anti-Trump account with nearly 1 million followers is Austria-based, though the account's location now says United States, with the disclaimer that it may be using a VPN to alter its location. Some accounts that appear to have been outed as non-US based no longer exist. NBC News reported on an account called Trump is My President. It was listed as Macedonia based. It's now deactivated. Another account called Ultra MAGA Trump 2028 was listed as African, now suspended for unknown reasons. Nikita Baer, head of product at X, announced the new update in a post on Saturday. He said displaying a user's location is an important first step to securing the integrity of the global town square, a key branding goal under Elon Musk's ownership. Bayer said in another post that the update has a few rough edges that will be resolved by Tuesday, and acknowledged the update was briefly shut off over the weekend because the data was not 100% for old accounts. The location feature includes a disclaimer that the country or region that an account is based can be impacted by recent travel or temporary relocation, and the data may not be accurate and can change periodically. X displays another disclaimer for accounts that appear to use a VPN. A school has responded to a petition to remove Megyn Kelly, the former Fox News contributor or Fox News host turned serious podcaster, from their Hall of Fame. She said he liked the barely legal types, even though they weren't barely legal, they were illegal. Remove her. She ain't worthy of being in any kind of a Hall of Fame. More like a hall of... Call it a hall of shame. Leave her in there. We've been following a story done by Phil Williams over in Nashville, Tennessee. He exposed this neo-Nazi that was going on these chat roulette websites and spewing some horrendous bullshit. He had a website. He was apparently streaming and using it to make content. I believe his website has now been taken down.
Website not found. Following an exclusive News Channel 5 investigation, 2 notorious websites used by neo-Nazis targeting children are now offline. Thanks for being with us. I'm Rory Johnston.
And I'm Carrie Sharp. Those websites disappeared overnight following 2 stunning reports from our News Channel 5 Investigates team.
Our chief investigative reporter, Phil Williams, may have nudged internet providers to take action. Phil, what's the latest? What do you know?
Well, the domino
Good job, Phil.
Last night after I reached out to the company hosting these vile websites asking for comment, and the fallout continued throughout today.
I'm gonna get all these to kill each other.
Monday night, neo-Nazi John Menadio was celebrating the attention following a News Channel 5 investigation that revealed how he was using his hate-filled websites to target children. Then late Tuesday night, those websites suddenly went dark. Wednesday afternoon on X, Menadio was more subdued.
What's going on, guys? Got a lot of messages about, this boomer brain, psychopath. Currently the website's down for a little bit, but I got another option. Got a few other options, but I will let you guys know when it's time. I'll post something where I'll be live streaming. I'm an entertainer, pro-white entertainer. I hate non-whites, okay?
Our investigation revealed how Menadio was live streaming video chats with children, mocking children of color while trying to recruit white kids, urging them to buy guns and get ready to kill. Internet records show his streaming service was being hosted by a company called Crunchbits, but after News Channel 5 Investigates contacted the company Tuesday night asking for comment, Menadio's website suddenly went offline without explanation. Reappearing Wednesday morning, this time the host we discovered was Comcast. But shortly after we reached out to the company, Menadio's streaming site again could not be found. You have a problem with Jews in general, though.
Well, how's about that?
For the head of the neo-Nazi Goyim Defense League, the possibility of being deplatformed could be costly. So far this year, his live stream has raked in more than $100,000 from his supporters. In the group's chats, one person commented, "Damn, this journalist Phil from Tennessee really did a number on the future of streaming," adding, "If anyone streaming wants to get into trucking, hit me up." And neither of the internet companies responded to my request for comment, nor did John Menadio respond directly. Although he suggested in one post that my actions
this time
what he called treason. One of his followers suggested in a post on X that the group was now at war with me, something that Menadio quickly disavowed, saying, "Don't even play with these whack jobs. They will have the FBI at your door for threats." Of course, we'll stay on the story and let you know.
Well, I mean, are they making threats? Bill Williams out here doing the Lord's work. Good job, Phil. Please unblock me on Twitter. I don't know what I did to upset you. Seriously. I can't imagine I said anything on one of your posts. I'm a huge fan, Phil. Please unblock me. We're going to move into the crime section of the show now. I'm barreling through this. I'm trying to get through the news because I don't want to be doing the news. I want to be doing something fun. Probably going to watch some Jimmy Cliff for Live Music Monday because Jimmy Cliff passed away earlier. You guys feeling some reggae tonight? A few, I'm going to say, getting ready to say a few years ago, over a decade ago, there was this, in the early days of social media, there was this weird thing called Slender Man. And this internet meme, story, copy pasta, creepypasta, I think is the correct terminology for it in the early days of social media, or maybe middle days of social media. It inspired a young kid to commit a murder. She served her sentence and was released to a group home, and apparently with the aid of one of her friends was able to escape. There was a manhunt for her. She has now been detained again.
We're going to start with a strange update on the Slender Man case. Those stabbings drew national attention back in 2014. And one of the women who admitted to stabbing a classmate when she was just 12 years old has been on conditional release. But she escaped from a group home in Wisconsin over the weekend, and she was found in the south suburbs. NBC5's Lisa Chavarria is live in Posen, where that woman is being held right now. Lisa, just a remarkable series of twists and turns that led to this today.
Right, and we're still trying to navigate some of those details right now, Alex. So we did just have a chance to hear from the Posen police chief within the past few minutes, and he is confirming to us now that the now 20
welcome in
woman, Morgan Geyser, is at the county jail in Markham. She was transferred there a bit earlier this morning for eventual extradition back to Wisconsin.
Ironic.
Police are telling us they did not charge her with anything. However, they did charge the man who they say was with her with criminal trespassing and also obstructing, both misdemeanors, for refusing to give officers his identity. Now, Posen police say 23-year-old Morgan Geyser was found behind this Thornton's gas station on Western Avenue and 147th last night around 9 o'clock. Police say they found Geyser and a man sleeping on the sidewalk behind the building. They say she initially lied to officers about her name. The officers say she eventually admitted she didn't want to tell them who she was because she had, quote, done something really bad, and told officers to Google her. Police arrested her and the man she was with. Now, Geyser was living in a group home in Wisconsin when police in Madison say they found out she had cut off her ankle monitor and left.
I don't think they're ever going to let Taylor Shabusiness out.
Now, back in 2014,
unfortunately,
Geyser
she was able to get out because she was a young kid when this happened.
One of two 12-year-olds who admitted to stabbing a classmate in Waukesha to please the online horror character Slender Man. Geyser pleaded guilty to attempted first-degree intentional homicide and was sent.
Oh, I didn't know that she didn't kill the girl, so the girl survived.
To a psychiatric institute because of mental illness back in 2018. The now 23-year-old was placed in a group home just earlier this year as part of a conditional release from that mental health institution. We did have a chance to get a statement from Geyser's attorney, Tony Cotton, who said in a statement, quote, "Right now, we do not know the circumstances behind Morgan's departure from the group home, namely whether she left voluntarily or whether something more nefarious took place, such as an abduction. We are glad that Morgan was found safely and returned to custody." The attorney had expressed some concern that he'd been worried about her being released to this group home and potential relationships that she may develop with older men. We did speak to the Posen police chief, Alex, and asked him, did she reveal anything? Was she abducted? Did she go willingly? He said she didn't reveal specifics, but from what his officers were able to tell, it did not appear to be an abduction. Again, that is what Posen police are saying. We are going to, of course, continue to follow this situation. At this point, she is supposed to go in front of a judge in Markham either later today, possibly tomorrow. Then she will be taken to the Cook County Jail at 26th in California, where she will have that extradition hearing where she could potentially head back to Wisconsin. But as far as exactly when that could happen, we're still trying to figure that out.
All right, a lot of new details that we've gotten today. Thank you so much, Lisa. We'll, of course, stay on top of the story throughout the day.
Yeah, usually go with whatever the opposite is of what a cop says. Between the incompetence and the lying, you're probably going to be a safe bet to bet against the cop. In Nevada, there was apparently a road rage shooting that ended up killing an 11-year-old boy. I think we actually see the man realize that he killed somebody on camera.
We're learning new details and seeing new images of a road rage shooting that left an 11-year-old boy dead in Henderson, Nevada.
It all started last Friday when police say a 22-year-old driver pulled a gun after a heated freeway exchange with the boy's stepfather. Our Mark Corderobus is here now with the newly released video. Mark.
Yeah, Giovanna, David, as you mentioned, that road rage shooting had happened last Friday. Already, the suspect has been in court, and now we are seeing the immediate aftermath of the shooting as Las Vegas police have released some body cam video as one of their officers just passing by on the freeway was the first law enforcement officer to arrive on scene. The boy's stepfather pleading for help, the suspect admitting to the crime.
My kid is dead. He's dead? Yeah, look.
Why?
No, bro.
I shot at him, bro.
You shot at him?
I did
Yeah.
not.
Real medical. unit.
That suspect seen on the body cam putting his hands behind his back to be handcuffed even before the officer had any real understanding of what had happened. The suspect identified as Tyler.
He might not have been aiming for the kids. You see those eyes?
Shooting 11-year-old Brandon Dominguez Chavarria. His stepfather was taking him to school when that shooting happened on the 215 freeway in Henderson, Nevada. In the body cam video, the suspect is heard telling the officer, quote, "It's 100% my fault. I didn't know he had a kid in the car."
Any chance that the kid will be okay? There's always a chance. Anything could happen. If you're a praying man, I would be praying a lot for him right now.
The boy shot in the head later died at the hospital. Johns is being held without bail on a charge of first-degree murder. He is due back at court December 4th. Live here in the newsroom, Mark Corderobus, ABC 7 Eyewitness News. Wilson.
Fucking tragic. And the dude's like, "Yep, I did it." Shit. It was a road rage incident. Apparently he was trying to like shoot a warning shot or something and accidentally shot the kid in maybe the back seat or something. Like, "Oh, I'm going to shoot his window out, teach him a lesson." And the kid might have been in a child safety seat or something. Leftist, welcome in. Speaking of children, the LAPD is placing a hold on the medical records of, what was her name? Celeste. It doesn't even say it in the description. Only that she was possibly the victim of an R&B singer by the name of David.
Grisly new details in the death of a teenage girl whose body was found inside singer David's Tesla. Thanks for joining us for the KTLA 5 News at Noon. I'm Glenn Walker.
And I'm Lou Parker. Today we are learning the body of Celeste Rivas Hernandez had been partially frozen when it
Celeste Hernandez.
Difficult for medical examiners to determine the cause of death. KTLA 5 Samantha Cortese live now in the newsroom with the latest on this.
Partially frozen. Now the discovery was a couple of months ago, and the body had been there for a while. How was it partially frozen? I don't believe it's been that cold in California.
Developing story. Samantha?
Hi, Lou and Glenn. We also have some breaking news. The Los Angeles Medical Examiner's Office
He's not in LA.
will not be releasing records or details associated with this case, including a cause of death and manner of death, and the medical examiner report until further notice. That's due to a court order requested by the LAPD.
She had been missing for months. It could have been cold weather.
The latest of many major developments in the case of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, who was found dead in the trunk of a Tesla belonging to singer David. Now we've learned not only is David being considered as an official suspect, police are reportedly looking at a second suspect.
Kaya, I am so glad you're here. I am so glad to see you, darling. Hold on 1 second. Curiouser did some laundry the other day and was like, is this yours? It's like, oh shit, you found my beanie. Kaya has redeemed it like twice, and I haven't been able to put it on because I didn't know where my fucking beanie was. I don't have to dress up like Tim Pool.
Body of that lake.
Yeah, how is this David dude not in jail?
The front trunk.
There are literally videos of him like with her talking about how he's with an underage girl and stuff. Got songs about how he's gonna like murder his girlfriend and shit.
Impounded at a Hollywood tow yard. David was on tour at the time, but police now believe Rivas Hernandez was killed last spring. Investigators are looking closely at a trip David took to a remote area of Santa Barbara County in the middle of the night, around the same time it's believed that Rivas Hernandez died. According to Mark Garagos, an attorney not connected to the case, he says people close to the investigation have told him this reported second suspect could be involved before, during, and after her death. He says LAPD has been using cutting-edge technology to determine locations and geolocate things like phone use and social media posts.
Over a year, Kaya, it seems, or just under a year.
Put a circle around the various people who may or may not have more information. They believe that they have triangulated locations which are very interesting to their investigation.
TMZ is confirming
she was missing for months.
Rivas Hernandez was dismembered and her body may have been frozen, making it more difficult or nearly impossible to pinpoint the cause of death. KTLA legal analyst Allison Treasel, who's not connected to this case, says police are not going to arrest anybody until the medical examiner determines the manner of death.
It will take the coroner a while to put together how this death happened. What is the manner of death? And in a case like this, if this is ruled a murder, there is no statute of limitations by which the district attorney has to file charges. So they are not in a time crunch here.
And again, breaking news this afternoon, the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner is now ordered by the courts to not release information about the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Attorney Allison Treasel, you just heard there, told us that if a security hold has been approved, this likely means an autopsy or toxicology result is available and new evidence has come to light, and investigators are protecting their investigation so potential evidence is not compromised. We'll have much more on this in the next hour. In the newsroom, Samantha Cortese, KTLA 5 News. Samantha.
Okay, here's the story I've been waiting on all night because this is fucking hilarious. In Virginia, there is a football team that is currently undefeated. High school football team currently undefeated. I love how that's kind of the headline on all the stories about this. Their football coach has now gone missing.
Virginia State Police say Union High School football coach Travis Turner first went missing when they were headed to his home for an investigation. Since then, they've been searching these mountains for any sign of where he may be. State police will not say what the investigation is, but they emphasize they were not going to Turner's home to arrest him. Wise County schools say they have suspended an employee with pay, but would not confirm if that employee is Turner.
Well,
police nor school officials will speak on camera. On the fourth day of the search, the parking lot where police were staging noticeably emptier compared to the weekend.
Oh, see, I didn't have those details that they were they were there regarding an investigation. That makes it seem like he diddled some kids and he's gone out and took his own life, hasn't he?
Virginia State Police say Union High School football coach Travis Turner first went missing when they were headed to his home for an investigation. Since then, they've been searching these mountains for any sign of where he may be. State Police will not say what the investigation is, but they emphasize they were not going to Turner's home to arrest him. Wise County schools say they have suspended an employee with pay, but would not confirm if that employee is Turner. Neither State Police nor school officials will speak on camera. On the fourth day of the search, the parking lot where police were staging noticeably emptier compared to the weekend. State police have used search and rescue teams, drones, and canines to try to find Turner. A FlightAware map showing a state police helicopter going in circles for a time over the area Saturday.
Don't know how to feel, don't know what to think, don't know how to act, but God, we're grateful to know that our God is bigger.
Meanwhile, Turner's disappearance was the elephant in the room.
Don't know how to think, don't know how to act.
Community members gathering for a prayer circle ahead of kickoff.
No matter what's going on around us, we can count on our neighbors, and we can count on those that are God's put in our life, and we can count on our community to be bigger than the situation we're facing.
The Union Bears pulled out the win, continuing a 12-game winning streak to advance to the region championship.
We talked in the huddle.
They're going to the championship.
Adversity here, but we stick together as brothers here, and we should come out with a victory.
Turner was officially added to the Virginia State Police missing persons list Sunday. State police say he was last seen in a gray sweatshirt and sweatpants. In Wise County, Virginia, this is Caleb Perney reporting.
Oh my God, Llama was on the local news.
Top stories on the NBC News app.
Shut up, Tom Llama.
YouTube channel.
There's been too much llama on this episode of the Troll Patrol. An AI doll has apparently been discontinued because it is unsafe. Who didn't see that coming?
This morning, new warnings about toys that contain AI chatbots. This might look like a cute plush doll, but sales of Kuma Teddy have now been suspended after researchers found the bear openly
Torchy, welcome.
Sexually explicit and dangerous content with kids. Contain AI chatbots. This might look like a cute plush doll, but sales of Kuma Teddy have now been suspended after researchers found the bear openly discussed sexually explicit and dangerous content with kids, including how to light a match.
Hold the matchbox with one hand.
When prompted, the bear also telling them where to find a variety of potentially dangerous objects, including knives, pills, matches, and plastic bags. The bear, which sold for $99 online, integrates OpenAI's chatbot.
We just have no idea what these AI toys are going to do to a child's development and to their mental health. And so unless you want your child to be part of this experiment, we recommend that you avoid AI toys for now.
It comes as lawmakers grapple with how to regulate the AI industry. The website Politico reports
dystopian
planning an executive order aimed at blocking states from issuing their own regulations to prevent a patchwork of state rules that could hamper innovation. Congress has also considered a similar action. One state lawmaker in Pennsylvania outraged, saying Washington is again attacking state sovereignty. Meanwhile, on Wall Street,
you're seeing an exponential growth of adoption and use of AI, and the number of applications that are going to be using these AI is also growing.
Stocks higher overnight after AI chipmaker NVIDIA exceeded expectations, reporting a stunning 65% jump in quarterly profits over last year, appearing to calm investors' fears of a so-called AI bubble bursting. As for that AI teddy bear, the company has taken its AI-enabled toys off the market for a safety audit. If you want to buy your child an AI-enabled toy, experts recommend
no, don't.
A reliable source and shop.
If you want to buy your child an AI toy, take a long walk off a short bridge.
For it in person so you can try it out.
It better not be. Oh, I thought it was gonna be Tom Llama again. I thought we were on an NBC station. A man is preparing to finish a walk around the world that has taken him 27 years.
Well, a man from the UK is taking the phrase the long way home to a whole new level. Setting off on his epic journey from Chile 27 years ago, he's now nearing the finish line. CBS News foreign correspondent Ramy Inocencio has more. Ramy, good morning.
Hey, Michael. Yeah, good morning. And this guy, Carl Bushby, really is the ultimate globetrotter, if you will, walking across continents, but walking also across time, sponsored by a lot of outdoor brands. I mean, what have you been doing since the year 1998? Because that is when he started walking.
Well, definitely not that.
2 rules. He calls them simple. He couldn't use any mechanical transport, and he would not go home until he got there on foot.
Since Carl Bushby started walking non-stop across the planet in 1998, the world has changed. But human kindness, he says, has not, since his first few days on the road in Chile.
These indigenous folks just brought me in, they sat me down, put plates of food in front of me, and then, tea and...
Yeah, let's see his route.
And left. Found nothing but the best in those 27 years, which has just been remarkable.
In that time, Bushby has walked about 30,000 miles. From the age of 29, he's marked a generation of birthdays on the road and turned 56 this year. Traversing up the Americas, across the U.S. to Russia, then Asia, and now Europe.
Why?
Our lives are short.
Okay, there you go. Did you see it? So he walked up through South America, the Bering Strait. Oh, he would walk 500 miles and he would walk 500 more. Is it racist that he didn't go through Africa? He did walk around the world. But it feels like if you're going to do that, why wouldn't you go down through here and then come up that way? He couldn't guess the rains down in Africa. Didn't want to bless the rains down in Africa. He probably took a ferry, right? What was the rules?
Now Europe.
Why?
Our lives are short.
He couldn't use mechanical travel unless
live it to the fullest.
Like over that strait.
Bushby has lived more than most of us.
He ain't from a land down under.
One of the scariest things happened early on. In 2000, he crossed the dangerous Darien Gap, the only way to pass from South to Central America.
Through the middle of a war zone, and there's a whole layer above that of cartels and drug plantations, and then really, really tough jungle.
He later traversed the Bering Strait from Alaska to Siberia, becoming the first Brit to do so, and had a run-in with a polar bear.
It looked like he swam it.
Very serious world that will kill you in 20 minutes if you mess up.
Barred from walking through Russia or Iran, he swam the Caspian Sea, the first person to do so. Nearly 200 miles in a month.
Jesus fucking Christ.
To get home, he may have to swim again. The English Channel from France.
But swimming sucks, dude. It just sucks. I'm not a swimmer. I don't like it.
Physical challenges aside, Bushby says there were emotional ones too.
Done it twice. Lost both of them. Circumstances. It's just hard to do that on the road like this.
Was there ever a time with family or close friends where you thought, you know what, I got to go back?
So it was understood that if any of them died, I wouldn't be there at their funeral. Simple as that.
Technological adaptations were needed as well. In 2013, he bought his first touchscreen device.
In the early days, you are pretty isolated. Now you couldn't hide if you tried. Yeah, back on the road.
Carl started his TikTok just this summer and has more than 350,000 followers as he hits his home stretch.
How does it feel?
Uncomfortable. Realizing that, it's like anyone who's had a lifetime career and it's time to retire.
What's the lesson you want to share?
Don't be afraid. Get off the couch. Get out of bed. Make it happen. That first step will open a world of possibilities and opportunities, and don't be afraid.
Think he's gonna turn around and go back?
And Carl is almost home. Only about 2,000 more miles to go until he gets here.
I'm assuming trust fund holiday.
Next year, Michael. His second passion, he told me, is STEM.
How does anyone travel?
Technology, engineering, and math to more people. And he said he sees himself doing that for the rest of his already very fulfilling life. I'd say if you see him on the road, say hi, maybe buy him a coffee so that he keeps on going.
A coffee? I'm going to buy him an Uber. Ramy and Asensio. Really inspirational story. Thanks for that.
Well, let's find out. Hold on. Carl Bushby is an English ex-paratrooper. He attended a local comprehensive school and joined the British Army. Doesn't say anything about him being born into wealth. Started in 1998. I don't know. I don't know what a comprehensive school is. I don't know if that's public or private. Some British thing, Flash. Hull, Yorkshire, England. Yorkshire is a pretty upscale neighborhood, isn't it? He did not walk through Japan, and that's probably a good thing because the United States has issued travel warnings to Japan over bear attacks.
Get this, the U.S. has issued a travel advisory for Japan following a string of deadly bear attacks. The country has reported more than a dozen deaths so far this year. NBC News correspondent Marquise Francis has warned the countrywide effort to try and protect residents and tourists.
A grisly warning to tourists in Japan.
How you gonna show me the cutest goddamn bear ever? I'm supposed to be scared of bear attacks, and you're gonna put that fucking face up on my screen.
Grisly warning to tourists in Japan as the country deals with a surge in bear attacks. According to Japan's public broadcasting network,
Alien, welcome in.
220 people have been injured since April. Officials say at least 13 people killed. 7 of those deaths in October.
Little doofus face.
As the animals prepare for hibernation.
Bear population has increased dramatically in Japan. I mean, there are now, I believe, over 40,000 Asiatic black bears throughout Japan.
Bears have been spotted in populated areas across the northern part of the country, including inside this supermarket.
Look for the bare necessities.
Combined with the population of people increasing and going into these habitats, you're going to have these conflicts.
The U.S., the U.K., and China all issuing travel advisories to their citizens, with the bears also spotted in places frequented by travelers. A bear cub killed by authorities after breaking into a hot spring resort in the Iwate Prefecture, and the airport there briefly forced to ground flights after this sighting on the runway. In Japan's historic Shirakawa village, visitors carrying bear bells and warning signs posted everywhere after a tourist from Spain was attacked at the UNESCO-listed site.
This is historical village, as you know, so we actually asking tourists to actually do not litter anything, you know, like pick up all the trash and take it. Other thing is that we actually going to hunt the bear.
Bear deterrence now a top priority.
Hunt the bear?
Armed with bear spray tools, troops from the country's self-defense force are helping capture the animals. Hunting drones that emit barking sounds deployed over an area in central Japan's Haida City. And in September, Japan amended a wildlife law to allow emergency hunting by civilians. And while the bear's hibernation season is right around the corner, officials in Japan say it's a risk they cannot ignore.
We are not gonna let that things happen again.
And Marquise Francis joins me now. Marquise, we are used to hearing about bear territory, you know, for hikers.
Oh, shut up. I told you guys I went to an amusement park yesterday. We were at Dollywood. Ironically, I rode. It was the only ride we got to ride. We stood in line for 2 hours for one ride. But luckily, it was the best one in the park. It was Big Bear Mountain. And that's like the theme of the ride is like you're hunting this mythical big bear. It was very cute. A lot of bear theme going on. Everybody still here with me? It looks like the internet kind of wanted to peter a little bit. Stick with me. We're going to be doing Live Music Monday. Jimmy Cliff, legendary reggae artist, has passed away. So I'm not that familiar with Jimmy Cliff, so let's find out about Jimmy Cliff.
He crossed many rivers to introduce reggae to the world. Tonight, fans are remembering the legendary Jimmy Cliff, who died at the age of 81.
Born in Jamaica, Cliff created music expressing happiness, defiance, and strength. He brought us hits like Many Rivers to Cross and You Can Get It If You Really Want, along with his role in the film The Harder They Come.
Eyewitness News anchor Sandra Bookman has a look at the life of the man who helped shape the reggae we know today.
Jimmy Cliff,
It looks like it's come back.
Jamaican with a spirited tenor and a gift for catchphrases and topical lyrics. He joined Kingston's emerging music scene in his teens and helped lead a movement in the 1960s that included future stars like Bob Marley and Peter Tosh.
Music can highlight awareness, and from that awareness, people can take some kind of action to better the situation. I think that's the role music has played through the ages. And I think it's the role that it is playing now, and I think that is the role that it can play.
In the early 1970s, Cliff starred in a film about an aspiring reggae musician who turns to crime. The Harder They Come was also suggested as a possible title for a song for Cliff. The movie was no box office hit, but the soundtrack is widely cited as among the greatest ever and as a turning point in reggae's worldwide rise.
I evolve with the time because, you know, music is what it is. Music doesn't really stay the same. I mean, especially popular music keeps changing.
Though his career
Vegans taste better.
in the 70s, Cliff worked steadily for decades, including collaborations with
But they fart a lot, I can tell you that.
Sting and Wyclef Jean, among
I
others.
used to date a vegan.
Nominated for 7 Grammys and won twice. In 2010, Jimmy Cliff was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Sandra Bookman, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
So we're going to be finding out about the legend that is Jimmy Cliff in just a couple of minutes. But first, I got to leave you with a cat video. Of course, a cat video. In New Jersey, a family had been missing their kitty for 10 years. They've now been reunited.
Well, it's like one of those Hollywood movies that brought tears to your eyes as a kid. The family pet vanishes. The owners do everything they can to try to find the missing animal. Fast forward to the end of the movie, and then, yes, they are reunited. It gets you every time. While this wasn't exactly the same plot for a family in Montclair, the ending is still pretty touching. Here's Tony Yates.
There she is.
Oh, my gosh. Oh.
That's Tony, Asa.
Asa is spending her first days back in the arms of the family that missed her for a decade after she made her great escape out of a window when the Heberly family lived in Montclair.
A window was left open on the second floor. She got through the screen, got into the rain gutter. So I found her, went and tried to save her on top of a rickety ladder. Long story short, I reached up, the cat freaked out, the ladder went down, I went down. Cat took off.
The family searched every day, put up signs, no luck.
The kids were absolutely heartbroken. We always hoped that we'd see her somewhere, looked everywhere. And then eventually she just never turned up.
They eventually moved away, but never forgot about Asa.
My middle son and I talked about it probably a month ago. I wonder whatever happened to that cat. It's such a sweet cat.
The wondering is over. They got a call from the animal shelter here a few days ago. Someone who had apparently been looking after the cat brought her in.
She was very cooperative. She let us scan her whole body, and voila, there was a chip. We were able to see when the chip was implanted. So we're like, oh, 10 years? They kept their phone number, all the information up to date, and we were able to reach out to them.
We thought this is some kind of scam. My wife vetted it, and it turned out to be true.
They were ecstatic. They drove immediately from the Finger Lakes region of upstate to come get their baby.
All thanks to her microchip. And here's an appeal in celebration of the joyous reunion. The shelter is in desperate need for cat food donations to give to families who need help feeding their fur babies.
Aww.
Dedicated to Asa, who has a play date pending with her sister Eris.
Her sister seems to be kind of excited about meeting him. Well, we're giving it another couple days before we actually bring them together.
Home again and very much welcomed. In Montclair, Tony Yates, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Oh, sweet baby.
My wife vetted it, and it turned out to be true.
All right, YouTube people, podcast people.
From the Finger Lakes region.
Light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm Justin Freakin. We'll see you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol, live.
The shelter is in desperate need for cat food donations.
Twitch people, stick with me. We're going to do live music Mondays.